Rumors abound about Sean Payton's future. One of the Saints' most veteran players has a separated shoulder. The defense has given up more yards than any other in the NFL, but we still have a warm, fuzzy feeling inside. You know they have a cure for that. We'll find out just what that is up next on the Black and Gold Today. Welcome to the Black and Gold Today, sponsored by Cadillac of New Orleans. I'm Jim Derry. We have so much good stuff to talk about. Let's waste no time jumping right into the Pick Six. Back from a wonderful trip to the land of the Liberty Bell to give us more insight, it's NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune sports columnist Jeff Duncan. So, Dunk, you had some fun up there?
Well, the weather was beautiful, but the outcome wasn't nearly as nice as the last time we were up there, JD. Saints didn't look so well.
Well, let's get right to the Pick Six and jump right in. You know, first off, ESPN did what they love to do. They cited an unnamed source in saying the Dolphins and, quote, other teams could be inquiring about the availability of Saints coach Sean Payton after the season's over. You know, I could be inquiring into whether the IRS is going to give me all my tax money back in April too, but it isn't likely. Obviously, Payton would never lend credence to this sort of thing and said Monday, "This is where I see myself for many, many years." What do you make of all this talk?
Well, Adam Schefter reported that, and Adam Schefter is a very wired-in NFL reporter, so I put a lot of credence in the fact that teams are going to have interest in Sean Payton. But if I'm a Saints fan, it really doesn't matter that teams are interested in your head coach. Sean Payton's a well-respected head coach around the league. Teams are always going to be interested in him, but I'm not sure that he's going to return that interest, and that's the key. Does Sean Payton want to see this rebuilding situation through, or is he going to have wandering eyes and maybe see another challenge in another place for a team that wants to come after him? You remember, JD, he's got 2 years left on his deal, so anybody that tries to hire Sean Payton is going to have to pay some compensation to the Saints to do it. So I think there's a lot of water under the bridge before we get to talking about it.
Well, and I'm sure we'll be talking a lot about that a lot more over the next several weeks, yeah. Number two, a couple of weeks ago I mentioned in one of my extra point segments that the Saints have had a coaching change either during or following a season that ends in 5. It's a weird stat, either during the next season. This is a sinking ship, it seems like. If you had to put a percentage on it, what are the chances someone other than Sean Payton is the head coach of the New Orleans Saints for Game 1 of the 2016 regular season?
Oh, I think odds are that Sean Payton's going to be back here. I'd be very surprised if he left. The only thing that would probably lure him away would be a new challenge and something that could still keep him close to his kids. And I think that's an important factor that has to be considered. Is, you know, his son is a high school football player right across the border in Dallas. Yep. I don't think he's going to leave anywhere too far if he did leave, but I still think he'll be here.
All right. Well, we'll be looking at that as we go along. Number 3, here's a question that Saints fans have been clamoring about. You know, why is it that teams like New England, Green Bay, and now Seattle can follow up success with more success, but this team has had so much trouble sustaining anything since 2009?
Well, you know, I would disagree with that somewhat. I mean, they had a winning season in 2010 and 11, went to the playoffs both those years, and I think if you're a Saints fan, you look back at 2011 as a missed opportunity maybe to get another Super Bowl title, and after that it's really fallen off. As I've mentioned to you before, when you start paying Drew Brees elite quarterback money, you have to draft and develop, and this team has not done it. They haven't had enough good young players coming up through the ranks to build around their quarterback, who I still think is an elite player. And maybe this draft is the one that can begin to turn things around a little bit. It looks like that they've so far it seems like it's a pretty decent draft. Let's move on to number 4. Let's talk about the now. Drew Brees struggled with his accuracy Sunday, but on the positive side, his arm looked pretty strong in my opinion. What do you say about it? Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, he had some big-time throws on third down. I think he had completions of 21, 22, 22, and 46 yards on third down, and some of them were just textbook passes. I don't think they've got a problem with Drew Brees throwing the ball. I think they got a problem protecting him and catching it when he does deliver on the mark. There's just so many other issues right now other than quarterback. They've got to start protecting him better. Look, they had a patchwork offensive line. That factored.
Yeah. It wasn't the greatest first start for Andrews Pete either.
No, I mean, he was going against a very good player, Fletcher Cox, and look, he's probably a right tackle by trade.
Yeah.
Really being thrust into not only a starting role but a left tackle role. Difficult assignment.
And it looks like Armstead might be out another week.
Yeah, we don't know yet, but they, on a short week like this, it's very difficult to turn it around. They need to get him back in the lineup. He's the second most important player on their offense.
All right, number 5, Marcus Colston had what one could call a disastrous start to the season, and now he's likely out for at least a few weeks with a separated shoulder, and me being the always looking at the worst side of things. Do you think this is the end of number 12 in New Orleans?
Well, I think by all accounts, this is probably Marcus Colston's last year. It might be the last year for Zach Strief and Jari Evans, his fellow 2006 classmates. Look, they've had a 9-10-year run. That's longer than most players in this league get, but Father Time is undefeated, JD.
Lastly, and well it should be, Dunk, the defense took a huge step backward this week. They, despite a couple interceptions in the end zone to save themselves from a first-half rout, ended up being a rout, but they gave up 519 yards to an offense that was previously ranked 28th in the NFL. Obviously no team is going to make a move in a short week, but does Rob Ryan survive if the unit has another similar performance at home this week against Atlanta?
Yeah, I think he does, JD. The Saints have never made midseason changes. That's not Mickey Loomis's method of operation. And as poorly as the defense has played, I'm not sure you can hang everything on coaching. They just got so many young players over there. They've had some injuries. And the inexperience, I think, shows at times. And then it hasn't helped that the offense and special teams have not played complementary football either. I'm not giving them an out. They're last in the league. But there's a lot of things wrong on the defense in addition to the coaching.
Yeah, and I'm not blaming them. I'm just, a lot of times a scapegoat's got to come out of somewhere. If they have another 40-10, if they have like a 40-10 game, who knows what's going to happen after this week? Yeah,
and Dennis Allen was brought in to assist him, and right now I just think it's an uphill battle trying to get that group. They're just lacking a dominant player, a playmaker on that side of the ball.
Well, thanks for joining us, Dunk. I know I gave you some fun questions to answer.
Yeah, always fun, JD. Anytime, buddy. I'm fighting a cold, so thanks for bearing with me.
No, thanks for joining us. We'll be right back with Tuesday's Extra Point after this.
What's one of the nicest things that comes with your new Cadillac from Cadillac of New Orleans? 0% interest.
Get 0% interest on all new Cadillacs, now at Cadillac of New Orleans. New owners, new attitude, on Lime Street in Rye and Metairie.
For Tuesday's Extra Point, let's reach back into the vault. Go back in time, but not too far. 2 years ago today, on October 13, 2013. The Saints had touchdown receptions by Kenny Stills, remember him? Travaris Cadet, remember him? And a touchdown run by Kyrie Robinson. Garrett Harley kicked 2 field goals. The defense had 5 sacks and a pick. The offense scored 20 points in the second half. Sounds like they won, right? Well, that was the end of the good news. Some guy named Tom Brady marched the New England Patriots 70 yards in a minute and 3 seconds to turn a 27-23 deficit into a 30-27 victory on a 17-yard touchdown pass to Kenbrell Tompkins with 10 seconds remaining. And the Saints went down to defeat for the first time in 2013. That's right, they were 5-1. Boy, that seems like a long time ago. They made it to 9-2 before losing 3 out of their final 6 games to hand the division to the Carolina Panthers. That sent the Saints on the road in the wild card weekend to Philadelphia and to Seattle in the divisional round, where the season came to a cold, wet end. And that might turn out to be the last playoff game for this team for quite some time. No, really, I promise we'll put the past in the past on Wednesday as we move one day closer to Thursday night's showdown with those hated Dirty Birds. Don't forget to vote in the poll, and we'll be back tomorrow, my friends, on the Black and Gold Today. See y'all.